Hello and welcome. We are Rocker Tea YouTube channel. I'm your host RP. We are here to talk about teas and tea related beverages and tune in. Many of the global consumers have a question as to what tea tasters look at when it comes to a good cup of tea. There are three main components that a tea taster looks at. The first one being the dry leaf, and the second one is the infusion of the made tea, and the third is the cup itself. When it comes to the dry leaf, we always look at the leaf color, the texture of the leaf. If it's a black, clean leaf, we consider it as a good tea, a well-made tea. When it comes to the infusion, we have a lot of things that we determine when it comes to a cuppa. A good infusion is a coppery infusion. But if it's a dark brown infusion, that means the tea can be flat, the tea can be a little old, or the tea can be too burnt in the manufacturing process. And when it comes to the cuppa, we look at the color of the cup and also the flavor. How a tea taster looks at a flavor is obviously with the tea taster's slurp. A tea taster's slurp tells you a lot of stories about the particular tea. A tea taster's slurp creates a vapor, and then the vapor comes through your nose. That's where you get the characteristics of that particular tea. If the tea is fruity, if the tea is smoky, whether the tea is burnt, there are so many characteristics in the tea tasting terminology that we talk about in the tea industry. So when it comes to the slurp, if it's fruity, for an example, we think if it's a tea that is not supposed to be fruity, as to if it's not flavored deliberately, that means that tea is contaminated with something else. And if it's smoky or if it's burnt, there are errors in the manufacturing process. But having said that, there are teas that are smoky and burnt, and those are made that way, especially some Chinese specialty teas or some other Taiwanese teas can be smoky and burnt. Those are made especially for that characteristics, but that is not what we are talking about here. These are definitely what we are talking about is errors in the manufacturing process. So those things can be determined, can be easily read through a tea taster slurp. How you do the tea taster slurp is you take your cup or the spoon and you slurp it. And normally at this point I drank it, but when you're tasting about 200-300 cups a day, you obviously throw the tea out. But this is exactly what a tea taster does, and this is how a tea taster determines a good cup. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening, and tune in to Rocker Tea YouTube channel for more videos like this. Drink tea.